Hey, right, today, back by popular demand, is Tony Calvin, whose initial interview went down really well. So we've invited follow-up questions, Tony, and we've had quite a few. So I'll rattle down them, be as intricate or not as you like with your answers,
Okay.
and see how we go.
Yep.
So right, without further ado, I'll just read out their handles and then they'll know who they are. So at 19 rich underscore. He
Yeah.
says, obviously, Tony is plus EV pre-off and trying to hedge, but how much negative EV does he think he's given away in running in comparison? I'll give this as one question.
Yeah.
Does he do it every race he's had a bet? Is there a set strategy to help you reduce variance and stay profitable?
To be honest with you, I'm not as scientific as he would kind of like suggest I am. It all depends on the nature of the race, the price I've got. I'll just be honest here. I mean, if I backed a horse at a big price, I might go in at stages in running. 305, I might put in LA at 2.18, 1.54. It all depends on how much I've had, how much I trust the horse. Like I said, the nature of the race after doing the pace map. I might back horses I think might get an easy lead. And to answer his question, I probably am giving away a bit too much money to your friends like Matthew Mantle and stuff, who are far better in running judges as I am. But I find the amount of times I get matched when I don't really expect to when I go in afterwards is just unreal. So I think I'm probably am giving away a bit too much for, I wouldn't say it's peace of mind, but I just think it suits the way I do, because if I can get away with a flat race when I should be losing money, then that's good. And if I've given away money when I've won, yeah, it's probably a short-term thing rather than a long-term wisdom, but it seems to work for me.
Okay, but just interesting for me. I mean, those numbers that you just like.
Yeah. No, it's basically
Uh,
uh, if you're kind of like the amount of times when you look at an in running graph and you just think, right, it's hit 3 in running, not 305. It's hit 2 in running, not 202. It's hit 1.5 in running, not 1.5. People have sweeping numbers, I find. And I'm speaking to in running. I've talked to in running punters like that. They'll put in even money and they'll look at a horse and they'll just think, right, I'm willing to take even money and I'll just sweep anything from even money onwards. And that's always stayed with me. So always go a little tick above the standard price, whether it be 2 to 1, even money, twos on. So it's just a way I do it. And what I do, if I'm not getting matched when I should be getting matched at 2.18, and the number of the day is sometimes 2.26, and someone's laying a chunk at 2.26 throughout the day, I will monitor that if I'm at my computer for the day. But yeah, those are the number. I don't know why I've always done it. 1.54, 2.18, 305. Yeah.
Okay, right. Next one. Electric Ralph at Electric Ralph. Is it true bookies love punters like me who like a lucky 15 or a lucky 63?
You're probably better placed to answer this than me. I would probably think they are, because the way I bet, I mean, I'm lucky to get one because I play it, well, pretty much exclusively at double figure prices. Obviously, getting one winner there's terrible, but if you are getting the right price, you are getting the right each way terms. They'll be quick enough to tell you if you are, betting in and in a very positive manner. But yeah, as a general rule of thumb, bookmakers like multiples, don't they? But I probably wouldn't be best just to do that. I mean, like I said, from anecdotally, from a bookmaker point of view, you'd say that's the case, wouldn't you? You'd take multiples all day long, wouldn't you?
And any bet that gets advertised normally not great for the punter, is it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there was a time, wasn't there, when I think Betfred offered 3 times the odds on a lucky 15 and stuff like that. And I mean, that obviously that was great if you could have got hold of that. But yeah, I mean, multiples have never really done it for me. But if you're getting a value price, then it's increasing like that. So I wouldn't. There's no hard and fast rules, but I think bookmakers like multiples as a general muggy rule.
Okay, Tony. Well, after this next question, you'll probably just turn it in. This is at instant GG info. So, Tony, what should I do with an 80% strike rate? Sell it or keep it all to myself, in your opinion?
I'd keep it to myself, wouldn't you?
He's obviously a
But it,
multi-millionaire.
it all depends whether his average price is tens on, in which case he's doing it in and he should try and sell it. But yeah. God,
But
he's got a big tip for himself, he is, isn't he? 80%.
yeah, I did think that myself. This one, I imagine this one's an in joke from Carl Hinchy.
Yeah.
Hi Tony, did you lose a bag of shirts after the Grand National Weights doing the Sky Garden? Which is an in joke, I assume.
That's the first time I've heard that one. I did go to that one. It's probably the last one I got invited to. Is it the Sky Roof Gardens in London? So I did go there. Yeah, I sat at a table with, what was it, Oliver Sherwin stuff. The shirts angle, I don't know what he's talking about. That was a very messy Grand National Weights Lunch because I ended up in a pub in London in the early hours with Gordon Elliott. I think Alan Brazil was there too and stuff. I'm not sure if he was on the next day. Bag of shirts. No. The only thing I can think of that I've got a funny story about bag of shirts, and I suppose if Carl Hinch, he's a racehorse owner, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He might have been there. The only thing I can think of, if I got drunk, I might have told the funny story about Derek Thompson. Allegedly, this is, and I'm sure it's just scurrilous rumor. There was a rumor that he lost a job racecourse commentating out in Dubai because every so often he used to take a suitcase full of dirty washing, including shirts and stuff, out to Dubai. So while he was out there on a commentating stint for a couple of days, he used to put all his shirts and his dirty washing into a very expensive laundry to get them done properly. And he got pulled up about this allegedly at one point. And they just said, "Excuse me, Mr. Thompson, you've only been here 2 days and you put 20 shirts in and various other things through the laundry. What's going on there?" So they had a steward and apparently he lost his job over it, and allegedly. But even if it isn't true, it should be true.
Right, this is from
You're a bit
Parky.
nervous about leaving that one in, aren't you?
Not at all. You said it, not me. Right, this is at Parky_Parks. Slightly negative topic, but this year more than ever, there seems to be a lot of poor riding and what looks like non-triers. Is this getting worse in your view? Maybe I'm watching too much midweek racing and looking out for it.
Well, I think he's answered his own question there. I mean, I said to you in the interview, I've reined a lot back on if there's not real good class racing that's on ITV or the good class racing, the likes of the Brigadier Gerard meeting and stuff like that. I tend to zone out between Monday and Thursday now. But one of the main reasons I did that is because I did see a lot more questionable rides, and some of the stuff I see. I'll give Newcastle an example. Some of the stuff I see there looks absolutely lawless. Now, granted, we haven't got the head-on shots and stuff like that, but some of those midweek races, and you attend more than I do, especially on the jumps, and you like to Newton Abbott and things like that. There is an increasing case, I feel, that you have to back a double to back a winner. It has to be kind of like off and trying as well as capable of winning. So because we're racing for a pittance, then and maybe they're looking at races down the line, even if not profiting on the day. I do kind of tend to zone out on stuff like that. I mean, like I said, the more it might be a bit kind of like maybe disingenuous is the wrong word. It may be a bit kind of like simplistic, but I think the better class of racing, the more chance you're getting a fair run. So yeah, I would agree with him that I did see more questionable rides when I was watching that kind of racing Monday to Thursday.
Okay, right. This is an adult show, so I could use his handle at London Wanker. Hi Tony, 43M Sagittarius here. I don't know if that means anything to you lot. No. Which bookie do you respect the most and why?
Oh God, if I was being diplomatic here, I'd have to say Betfair, wouldn't I? But I've never been diplomatic. As I said to you on the interview, I have 3 firms that let me bet with them to various sizes: Betfair Sportsbook, BetVictor, William Hill. I would have to say William Hill because I respect the fact that they're normally always first up with their prices. they let me on to a fair degree. We'd all want more, and probably we should all probably accept less. But but the manner in which they operate, they go out there, and more importantly, lay me a decent bet. I would say William Hill are up there alongside Betfair. So a little bit of diplomacy, yeah. But William Hill, I do like the way they operate.
Okay, right. This is
But what I would say, every single bookmaker operates on the same on the same wavelength, didn't it? So if I say William Hill, and people just say, "Well, they shut me after free bets and stuff like that." I'm sure they do. I'm sure William Hill do that. I'm sure every single bookmaker do that. But in my own experience, I quite respect William Hill the way they go about things.
right. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of editing on this one. This is from Anthony 328 39622. Just because I'm not going to stoop to quite this level of swearing, but he's not talking about getting info from them, but in general, who are the jockeys and trainers who are absolute not so good to deal with?
To deal with,
yeah.
Well, I've done about 8 or 9 jockeys in my time. I've done Paul Nicholls, done Hugo Palmer. I did find, like I say, come on then. Brian Cooper, I found very hard. I think people are hard. Once you get a hold of them, it's great. But the important thing is when you're ghostwriting and you've got a very limited window, and they want, the firms want to get it up there, because I've done it with 32 Red, Unibet. There, I found Brian Cooper very hard when he was doing some stuff from 32 Red. I found Hugo Palmer hard to get a hold of, which is incredibly frustrating. But the answer, for example, when I did Paul Nicholls, if you text him, and he must be on that phone 25 hours a day. If you text him, your odds on to get a response back in 2 minutes. I mean, he just Jonathan Power does him now. Nicholls is brilliant. I find Nico on the plus side. I think Nico de Boinville is brilliant. Ryan Moore has got infinitely better in the last 3 years, and I think he's currently knocking out some of the best stuff he's ever done on betting.betfair. So, yeah, cutting to the chase, I thought Brian Cooper and Hugo Palmer were difficult.
Okay, right. This is from @Justin McGurk. Right, Justin. What tools, publications do you use for form study? And in a typical week, how many hours would you spend studying?
Primarily the Racing Post, Raceform Interactive for stuff like headgear stats. I probably should text Andrew Mount and get he is a walk-in Raceform Interactive, isn't he? For any stat you want for him. I do that. So yeah, they're the main tool. Basically, it's not the Racing Post site. I very rarely read the content. I just want the form site, and I want the videos more than anything else. I probably should use Matt Bozzogno's site that everyone's really raves about, but I'm just like many people, you don't change banks, etc. If you're happy with something, then that's fine. I don't use Racing Post because I keep notes, because I'm not a tracker. I'm not a tracker wanker, and I don't keep notes on the Racing Post site. But yeah, I like that. How many hours a day? I would, if I'm tipping and I look at a race, I'd probably look at it pre-decks and after the overnight stage, and I would give, depending on the size of the race, obviously, I would spend at least an hour on every single race I tip on betting or look to do that. So yeah, there's your answer. That's probably why I specialize a lot more, because there's not enough hours in the day to actually, go. When people say, "Oh, I've looked at the weekend racing and there's 8 meetings," they're just a liar. They're just a liar. But so yeah, I look to do at least, and basically an hour a race. If it's a big field, maybe a lot more. If it's a smaller field, a lot less, obviously.
Okay, this will be the last one for this part. I'm assuming this one could be another in-joke. Bet on Ryanair.
Yeah.
Do you play Wordle every day and share your result into a family WhatsApp group?
I know that's Owen Ryan. He's a midget from Gibraltar, works for Bet Victor. He's a marketing guy, so it's probably some marketing type joke that nobody gets. No, Wordle. Anyway, and if you're listening, I'm thinking a Wordle. This is a 4-letter Wordle, and I'll give you the first letter, C. Let's see if you can work that one out in one guess.